All right, let's jump right into Eicher Motors' second quarter results for fiscal year 25.
Fresh off the press. Just came out November 13th.
And we've got everything laid out in front of us here, press release, investor presentations, the whole nine yards. But this isn't just about numbers, right?
Uh,
This is about understanding what makes this company tick.
yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. These results are making waves, and there's a good reason for that. We're going to break down why Eicher Motors is more than just some hot stock. We're going to talk about how they're actually shaping the landscape of both the motorcycle and commercial vehicle markets.
Okay, so let's start with those headline-grabbing numbers.
Absolutely.
Eicher Motors, they just posted both their highest ever Q2 revenue from operations and their highest ever Q2 profit after tax.
Yeah.
Consolidated, we're talking about 8,656.12 crore in revenue
Wow.
and a whopping 2,201.79 crore profit.
Those are massive figures. It really points to a carefully crafted strategy where they're leveraging the strengths of both their motorcycle brand, Royal Enfield, and their commercial vehicle joint venture, VECV.
Well, Royal Enfield's certainly been a powerhouse for them.
It has.
They're the reigning champions of the mid-size motorcycle segment in India, and they're making serious inroads globally, especially in the Americas, Europe, and Asia Pacific.
Yeah, you know what's really intriguing to me is that their success goes beyond just churning out motorcycles. They've actually cultivated this thriving brand community. Royal Enfield boasts the largest online motorcycle community globally, which gives them a direct line to their customer base and invaluable insight into customer preferences.
And they've been rolling out new models as well, like the Gorilla 450, the revamped Classic 350, and the Bear 650. Plus, they've got those cool collaborations going on with brands like Sea-Law and Blue Tokai. Those are definitely catching attention.
Yeah, I think those partnerships are very savvy. They tap into very specific lifestyle niches that align perfectly with the Royal Enfield image. It's about crafting experiences, not just selling machines.
Now let's talk about VECV, their commercial vehicle venture.
Right.
They also had a strong Q2 in FY25, further solidifying their top spot in the light and medium-duty truck segment.
Yeah, what stands out to me with VECV is their commitment to modernization. They're not shying away from that shift toward more sustainable solutions. Their lineup includes electric, natural gas, and diesel vehicles, giving them a broad reach across those different market needs.
And they're putting their money where their mouth is when it comes to green trucking. That Munyu for 500 Eicher Pro 6,555 LNG trucks is a pretty big deal.
Oh yeah, that signals a real commitment to making a dent in the environmental impact of the trucking industry. Plus, it positions VECV as a frontrunner in this emerging market, which could pay huge dividends down the line.
Okay, their e-mobility game is strong too.
It is.
Partnering with Amazon for 1,000 electric vehicles is a major win, not to mention securing orders from the Indian Army and the Kerala State Road Transport Corporation.
Yeah, it really shows they're not just dipping their toes into the e-mobility pool, they're diving in head first. This diversified approach across trucks, buses, and delivery vehicles puts them in a really strong position to capitalize on the growing demand for electric commercial vehicles.
Okay, now let's get our hands a little greasy, shall we, and delve into the financial statements.
All right.
What kind of story are these numbers telling us?
Well, I think on both the standalone and consolidated fronts, the story is one of robust growth. But there are some fascinating nuances in the details. For instance, they've made strategic investments in subsidiaries, with 4.53 crore going to Royal Enfield Europe BV. This signals their intention to strengthen their foothold in the European market.
And they've been issuing equity shares under their employee stock option plan, which tells me they're investing in their people as well as their infrastructure.
Absolutely, it's a very smart move. Helps retain talent and foster a sense of shared ownership within the company. Now, looking at their financials, we can't ignore the industry-wide challenges like inflation and those supply chain hiccups.
Right, yeah. Everyone's been feeling the pinch.
They have.
But it seems like Eicher Motors has managed to navigate these obstacles pretty effectively. Their cost management strategies appear to be paying off.
Absolutely. It's reflected in their robust operating cash flow and their consistent dividend payouts. They're even managing to invest in property, plant, and equipment, which shows a confidence in their long-term growth prospects.
All of this paints a picture of a company that's not just financially healthy, but also strategic in how they allocate resources.
Right.
But it's not all about profit, right? Eicher Motors is getting recognized for its commitment to sustainability.
Yeah, and it's not just lip service. It's baked into their operations. They've achieved zero waste to landfill status and are steadily increasing their reliance on renewable energy sources.
Yeah, that's going to be a big factor for investors who are increasingly factoring in environmental, social, and governance, or ESG principles.
Precisely. We're seeing a growing trend of investors prioritizing companies that align with these values. Eicher Motors is scoring high on those sustainability indices, which certainly bodes well for attracting a certain type of investor.
So they're appealing to a wider range of stakeholders. Customers who want responsible products, employees who want to be a part of something meaningful, and investors who prioritize sustainability.
It's a smart, holistic approach. They're
Yeah.
building a brand that resonates on multiple levels. Now, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on their social initiatives. Programs like Green Hub, Himalayan Knot, and Green Pit Stop seem to be making a tangible impact.
Yeah, these initiatives are really interesting. They're not just throwing money at a problem, they're creating programs that address specific community needs and environmental challenges. Let's take a closer look at these initiatives and how they fit into the bigger picture of Eicher Motors' sustainability strategy.
Okay, let's start with Green Hub. It's not your typical corporate grant program.
Right.
They're providing fellowships to individuals and organizations who are working on the ground to address critical environmental issues.
So it's more about empowering local change makers than imposing top-down solutions. What kind of projects are they supporting?
Well, they've got a diverse portfolio ranging from forest conservation and wildlife protection to sustainable agriculture and water resource management.
That's a pretty broad scope. It suggests that they're not limiting themselves to issues that just directly benefit their business.
Exactly. It speaks to a genuine commitment to environmental stewardship, regardless of whether it directly impacts their bottom line.
Now, what about Himalayan Knot? That one sounds intriguing.
Yeah, this initiative tackles both social and environmental challenges in the Ladakh region. They're supporting the production of erie and cotton apparel using sustainable practices. This helps preserve traditional textile techniques while providing local communities with sustainable livelihood opportunities.
So it's about preserving cultural heritage while promoting economic empowerment. I'm seeing a pattern here. Eicher Motors is taking a multifaceted approach to social responsibility.
Yeah, they're looking beyond quick fixes and addressing the root causes of social and environmental problems. Now, Green Pit Stop might seem like a departure from their core business, but it actually ties in quite nicely with their motorcycle brand.
I'm all ears. How does a program focused on responsible tourism connect with motorcycles?
Well, Green Pit Stop encourages eco-conscious travel by providing travelers with a network of accommodations and travel options that prioritize sustainability. It taps into the sense of adventure and exploration that's synonymous with the Royal Enfield brand.
Ah, so it's about promoting a responsible way to experience the world, which aligns perfectly with the values of their target customer.
Yeah, they're cultivating a community that goes beyond just owning a motorcycle. It's about sharing a certain ethos.
This focus on community building also extends to their sustainability efforts. It's not just about what Eicher Motors is doing internally, it's about engaging their entire ecosystem. Customers, suppliers, and even the wider public.
You're right, they're weaving sustainability into the very fabric of their brand, and it's resonating. Now, shifting gears back to the financials, I think it's worth highlighting their commitment to research and development.
Absolutely. Innovation is crucial in the automotive industry, especially with the rapid rise of electric vehicles and the increasing demand for cleaner transportation solutions. What can you tell us about Eicher Motors' R&D efforts?
While they're investing heavily in developing new technologies and platforms, particularly in the areas of electric mobility and alternative fuels. This is evident in their launch of electric trucks, buses, and even their partnership with Amazon for electric delivery vehicles.
It seems like they're not just reacting to market trends, they're proactively anticipating future demands and positioning themselves as leaders in the transition to a more sustainable transportation future.
And that proactiveness is attracting attention from investors who are keen on backing companies that are at the forefront of this transition.
Now, let's talk about investor sentiment. We know the initial response to these Q2 results has been positive, but are there any potential risks or factors that could impact investor confidence down the line?
Well, while Eicher Motors is in a strong position overall, they're not immune to external factors.
Yeah.
The global economic landscape is still volatile, and a slowdown could impact consumer spending, particularly on discretionary items like motorcycles.
That's a valid point. Motorcycles, especially premium models like Royal Enfields, are often seen as aspirational purchases that could be vulnerable to economic downturn.
Right. Competition is another factor to consider. The mid-sized motorcycle segment is getting crowded both domestically and internationally.
Uh-huh.
Eicher Motors needs to keep innovating and differentiating themselves to maintain their market share.
And let's not forget the electric vehicle revolution. While they're making strides in e-mobility, they're facing stiff competition from established players and startups alike. The pace of technological advancements in the EV space is relentless, and they need to keep up to stay ahead of the curve.
They also need to navigate the complexities of scaling up their EV production and establishing a robust charging infrastructure, which is no small feat.
Those are all valid points. So while the future looks bright for Eicher Motors, there are certainly challenges on the horizon.
There are.
But their track record of resilience, their strategic investments, and their commitment to sustainability give them a strong foundation to navigate these complexities.
Agreed. Now let's dive a bit deeper into their financial performance. You mentioned earlier their robust operating cash flow. What specifically makes their cash flow dynamics so impressive?
I'm glad you brought that up. It's one thing to be profitable on paper, but it's another thing entirely to have healthy cash flow.
It's exactly. Strong cash flow allows a company to invest in growth, weather economic storms, and reward shareholders. So let's break down Eicher Motors' cash flow situation.
Okay.
In FY24, their net cash flow from operating activities was 3,724 crore. That's a staggering figure, and it indicates that their core business operations are generating significant cash.
That's a testament to their efficient operations and their ability to convert sales into actual cash. Now, what's important is how they're utilizing this cash. Are they simply sitting on it, or are they putting it to work?
Well, they're definitely not hoarding cash. They've invested 819 crore in property, plant, and equipment in FY24 alone.
Wow.
This suggests they're expanding and modernizing their production facilities, likely in anticipation of future growth.
Makes sense.
They're also likely investing in R&D, even if it's not explicitly stated in the financials.
Right.
And they haven't forgotten about their shareholders. They paid out a substantial 1,013 crore in dividends in FY24. So they're striking a balance between investing in future growth, rewarding shareholders, and maintaining a healthy cash reserve.
That balanced approach is key. It signals a well-managed company that's thinking both short-term and long-term. Now let's switch gears and delve into one of their flagship initiatives, the achievement of zero waste to landfill status.
Right.
It's a remarkable accomplishment that speaks volumes about their commitment to environmental sustainability.
It's a complex undertaking requiring a complete overhaul of waste management practices. It's not just about collecting and disposing of waste. It's about minimizing waste generation in the first place and finding ways to reuse and recycle whatever waste is produced.
Exactly, and it requires buy-in from every level of the organization, from the shop floor to the executive suite. So I'm curious, what specific measures did Eicher Motors implement to achieve this zero waste milestone?
They implemented a comprehensive waste management program that prioritizes waste reduction at the source. This means optimizing production processes to minimize waste generation, implementing strict sorting and segregation protocols, and partnering with specialized recycling companies.
So it's not just about eliminating waste, it's about creating a circular economy where waste is seen as a resource.
Right. And they're going beyond their own operations and engaging their suppliers to adopt sustainable practices. This creates a ripple effect throughout their entire supply chain, amplifying their impact.
That's a critical aspect of sustainability that's often overlooked. It's about recognizing that your environmental footprint extends beyond your immediate operations. Now let's talk about their ambitious goal of reducing their emissions intensity by 80% per motorcycle by FY 2029-2030.
Yeah,
That's a bold target.
it is. It's going to require a multi-pronged approach. It signals that they're not just aiming for incremental improvements, they're targeting a radical transformation of their operations.
So how are they going about achieving this?
Well, they're focusing on increasing their reliance on renewable energy sources like solar and wind power. This reduces their dependence on fossil fuels, directly lowering their carbon emissions.
And it makes them less vulnerable to fluctuations in energy prices, which is a smart business move in the long run.
Absolutely. They're also implementing energy efficiency measures across their operations, from optimizing manufacturing processes to upgrading lighting and HVAC systems.
Every little bit counts when it comes to reducing energy consumption, and it often leads to cost savings as well, making it a win-win.
Right.
Now, let's not forget their push toward electric vehicles. This transition is a major part of their strategy to reduce emissions.
Absolutely. The shift to electric vehicles is not just about reducing tailpipe emissions, it's about transforming the entire transportation ecosystem. And Eicher Motors is positioning themselves as a key player in this transition.
But transitioning to electric mobility comes with its own set of challenges, right?
Definitely. It requires significant investments in R&D, infrastructure development, and supply chain adjustments. And they're facing stiff competition from established automotive giants as well as agile startups.
And let's not forget about consumer adoption. While interest in EVs is growing, there are still concerns about range anxiety, charging infrastructure, and affordability.
Right. Overcoming these barriers will be crucial for the widespread adoption of EVs. But Eicher Motors is tackling these challenges head-on.
Okay.
They're partnering with companies like Amazon to electrify their delivery fleets, demonstrating the viability of EVs in a commercial setting. They're delivering electric buses to public transport authorities, showcasing their commitment to sustainable public transportation, and they're investing in research and development to improve battery technology, extend vehicle range, and reduce charging times.
It's a multi-pronged approach that reflects their understanding of the complexities involved in transitioning to a more sustainable transportation future. Now, I'm curious to learn more about their water management practices. You mentioned earlier that they achieved a net water positivity index of 2.6 in FY24. What does that even mean?
It means they're replenishing more water than they consume.
Wow.
It's a remarkable achievement, especially in a water-stressed country like India.
Yeah, it goes beyond simply reducing water consumption. It's about actively restoring and replenishing water resources. How are they achieving this?
They've implemented a range of water conservation measures, such as rainwater harvesting, wastewater treatment and recycling, and water-efficient landscaping.
So they're treating water as a precious resource, not something to be taken for granted.
Exactly, and they're going beyond their own operations and engaging with local communities to promote water conservation.
That holistic approach is key. It recognizes that sustainable water management requires a collective effort.
Now let's delve into Royal Enfield's branding and customer engagement strategies.
All right.
They've created a fiercely loyal following and a brand that's synonymous with adventure and a certain rugged individualism.
Yeah, they've tapped into a deep emotional connection with their customers, and it's not just about the motorcycles themselves, it's about the lifestyle they represent.
Exactly. Their Art of Motorcycling program is a great example of how they're tapping in to the creative spirit of their community.
It's more than just a marketing campaign.
Right.
It's a platform for riders to express their passion and individuality through art.
And it's gone global. Season 4 is reaching out to riders in Thailand, Indonesia, Australia, and more. It's building a sense of global camaraderie.
They're also masters of experiential marketing, creating memorable events that bring riders together.
Yeah, the Himalayan Odyssey is legendary, a challenging adventure through some of the world's most breathtaking landscapes.
Wow.
But, they also host more accessible rides,
Yeah.
like the recent Pan-India 100-day ride.
It's about catering to a diverse range of riders and creating a sense of community that transcends geographic boundaries.
And their digital presence is a major factor in their success. They've cultivated one of the world's strongest online motorcycle communities with over 11.6 million followers, and it's all organic, no paid promotions.
That speaks volumes about the authenticity of their brand and their ability to engage riders on a personal level.
They're not just broadcasting messages, they're fostering conversations, sharing stories, and creating a space where riders feel like they belong.
And their RE app is a great example of how they're using technology to enhance the ownership experience.
Yeah, it provides riders with a wealth of information and services, from a 3D configurator for customizing their bikes to a service experience portal. They're creating a seamless and personalized experience for their customers.
Now let's shift our focus to VECV and their strategic approach to growth and market leadership. They've been making some significant strides in recent years.
Their success can be attributed to a number of factors, including their focus on providing a modernized and comprehensive product range. They've gone beyond just offering diesel trucks and buses and have expanded their portfolio to include electric, natural gas, and hybrid vehicles.
Yeah, this diversification allows them to cater to a wider range of customer needs and preferences, particularly as the demand for sustainable transportation solutions continues to grow.
And they're not just offering alternative fuel options. They're incorporating advanced technologies to enhance the performance, efficiency, and safety of their vehicles.
Right. For instance, their Eicher Pro 6555 LNG trucks are equipped with cutting-edge features that optimize fuel efficiency and performance while also reducing their environmental impact.
Uh-huh.
And their electric buses are designed to provide a comfortable and efficient transportation solution for passengers.
Their commitment to modernization extends to their manufacturing facilities as well. Their truck plant in Pithampur, for example, incorporates advanced manufacturing technologies and sustainable practices to optimize efficiency and minimize their environmental footprint.
It's about embedding sustainability into every aspect of their operations, from product design to manufacturing processes, and their commitment to providing a comprehensive customer experience is another key driver of their success.
Absolutely. They have a robust network of over 972 touchpoints across India, providing customers with easy access to sales, service, and spare parts. They're going beyond just selling vehicles and providing customers with the support they need throughout the ownership journey.
And their strong after-sales support has earned them higher rankings in customer satisfaction surveys, demonstrating their commitment to building lasting relationships with their customers.
They're also leveraging technology to enhance the customer experience. Their My Eicher telematics solution for the bus segment provides customers with real-time data on vehicle performance, fuel efficiency, and driver behavior, enabling them to optimize their operations.
It's about empowering customers with the information and tools they need to make informed decisions and get the most out of their vehicles.
So VECV's success can be attributed to a combination of factors: a modernized product range, a strong focus on sustainability, a robust customer support network, and innovative technological solutions.
They've clearly got a winning formula. Now, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on Eicher Motors' overall financial health. What key indicators stand out to you, and what story are they telling?
Well, one of the most impressive aspects of their financial performance is their consistent profitability.
Hmm,
They've achieved a strong and steady growth trajectory in terms of both revenue and profit, and they've managed to maintain healthy margins despite challenging market conditions.
that's impressive. It speaks to their strong operational efficiency and disciplined cost management.
Exactly. They've been able to navigate economic headwinds and supply chain disruptions while still delivering strong results.
So, what are the key drivers of this consistent profitability?
Well, one key driver is the strong performance of both Royal Enfield and VECV.
Right.
Both brands have achieved significant market share gains driven by their compelling product offerings, strong brand equity, and robust customer support networks.
They've got a winning formula.
And their strategic investments in areas like research and development and global expansion are also paying off. They've developed a robust product pipeline, expanded their global footprint, and established themselves as leaders in sustainability.
It's a long-term vision that's driving their success.
Precisely. And their strong financial position enables them to continue investing in future growth, ensuring their continued success in the years to come.
Now let's zoom in on some specific financial metrics that provide insights into their financial health. What are some of the key indicators that stand out to you?
Well, one key indicator is their EBITDA margin, which measures their operating profitability. In FY24, their consolidated EBITDA margin was a healthy 26.2%, demonstrating their ability to generate strong profits from their core operations.
That's an impressive margin.
And it's been consistently strong over the past few years, indicating a sustainable and efficient business model.
So they're not just profitable, they're consistently profitable.
Exactly. Another key indicator is their return on equity, or ROE, which measures how efficiently they're using their shareholders' investments to generate profits. In FY24, their ROE was a respectable 24.2%, indicating a strong return on investment for their shareholders.
That's fantastic news for investors, but for those who aren't familiar with financial jargon, can you explain what ROE actually tells us about a company?
Of course. Think of it this way. ROE is like a report card for how well a company is using the money invested by its shareholders to generate profits. A higher ROE generally indicates that the company is using its shareholders' money effectively to grow the business and generate earnings.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like a measure of how effectively a company is turning investments into profits.
Exactly. Now, another key metric to consider is their debt-to-equity ratio, which essentially tells us how much debt a company is using to finance its assets relative to the amount of equity it has.
So, a lower debt to equity ratio generally indicates that a company is relying more on its own funds rather than borrowed money, which can be seen as a sign of financial stability.
Precisely. And in Eicher Motors' case, their debt-to-equity ratio is relatively low, suggesting they have a healthy balance sheet and are not overly reliant on debt financing.
That's reassuring to hear, especially considering the current economic climate. So they're profitable, they're generating strong cash flow, they're investing in growth, they're rewarding shareholders, and they have a healthy balance sheet. It seems like they're firing on all cylinders.
They are indeed. But let's not forget the importance of their commitment to sustainability. This is a company that's not just focused on maximizing profits. They're committed to doing business in a way that benefits the environment and the communities they operate in.
Their sustainability initiatives are not just a PR exercise, they're deeply integrated into their business strategy.
And it's this holistic approach that sets them apart. They're demonstrating that sustainability is not just good for the planet and for people, it's also good for business.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to touch on a point we discussed earlier, the rapid rise of electric vehicles.
Okay.
This is a transformative shift that's shaking up the entire automotive industry.
It is indeed. The EV revolution is no longer a futuristic concept, it's happening now. And Eicher Motors, while making significant progress, is navigating a complex and rapidly evolving landscape.
There are challenges and opportunities galore. So let's delve into Eicher Motors' EV strategy, their competitive landscape, and the potential impact of this transformative shift on their future growth trajectory.
Well, they're tackling this EV shift on multiple fronts.
Okay.
We see it with their electric trucks and buses. And their strategic partnership with Amazon for electric delivery vehicles is a significant move.
Yeah, it's a smart play. It allows them to tap into a rapidly growing market segment while showcasing the real-world capabilities of their EV technology. But they're not alone in this race. Who are the key players they're up against?
Well, in the electric truck and bus segment, they're facing competition from established commercial vehicle manufacturers like Tata Motors and Ashok Leyland, both of whom are aggressively pushing their own EV solutions.
So it's a battle of titans, with each player bringing their own strengths and legacy to the table. What about the electric motorcycle market? That's a space where Royal Enfield could really make a mark.
Absolutely. But it's also a space that's attracting a swarm of new entrants, both domestic and international.
Yeah.
Startups like Ultraviolet Automotive and Revolt Motors are making waves with their electric motorcycle offerings, and they're not afraid to challenge the status quo.
So Royal Enfield can't simply rely on their brand legacy. They need to bring their A game in terms of technology, design, and performance to stay competitive in this dynamic market.
Precisely. And let's not forget the international players. Harley-Davidson, with its Livewire electric motorcycle brand, is a formidable competitor, bringing decades of motorcycle heritage and a global brand presence.
A high-stakes game, and Eicher Motors needs to be strategic and agile to maintain its leadership position.
One of their key advantages is their strong brand equity, particularly with Royal Enfield. They've cultivated a loyal following that associates the brand with adventure, authenticity, and a certain rugged appeal. The question is, can they translate that brand equity into the electric motorcycle space?
That's the million-dollar question. Consumers who buy Royal Enfields, they often do so for the visceral experience, the rumble of the engine, the feel of the road. Can an electric motorcycle capture that same spirit?
That's the challenge they need to overcome. They need to create electric motorcycles that not only perform well, but also evoke the same emotional response, the same sense of freedom and adventure that's synonymous with the Royal Enfield brand.
It's a delicate balancing act. They need to innovate and embrace new technologies while staying true to the core values that have made Royal Enfield such an iconic brand.
And they need to do all of this while navigating the complexities of scaling up production, managing costs, and building a robust charging infrastructure. It's a multifaceted challenge, but they've demonstrated their ability to adapt and innovate in the past.
Now, let's step back and look at the bigger picture. What's the potential impact of this EV revolution on Eicher Motors' future growth?
The EV market is projected to grow exponentially in the coming years, driven by government regulations, rising fuel prices, and increasing consumer awareness of environmental issues. This presents a massive opportunity for Eicher Motors, both in India and globally.
If they can successfully navigate this transition and establish themselves as leaders in the EV space, it could unlock significant growth potential.
Exactly. But it's not a guaranteed win. They're facing stiff competition, and the technological landscape is evolving rapidly.
Uh-huh.
They need to be strategic, agile, and willing to take calculated risks.
So while the future looks promising, it's not without its challenges. It's going to be an exciting journey to watch. Now, before we wrap up, I want to circle back to their sustainability initiatives,
Okay.
particularly their commitment to zero waste to landfill. It's a testament to their dedication to minimizing their environmental impact. What can you tell us about the broader implications of this achievement?
Well, their zero waste to landfill status is a significant accomplishment, demonstrating their commitment to circular economy principles. By reducing, reusing, and recycling waste, they're not only minimizing their environmental footprint, but also potentially unlocking economic benefits.
It's a smart business move. In a world where resource scarcity is becoming increasingly apparent, companies that can efficiently manage their waste streams and extract value from what was once considered trash will have a competitive advantage.
Absolutely. And it aligns with the growing consumer demand for sustainable and responsible products. Consumers are increasingly scrutinizing the environmental practices of the companies they support, and Eicher Motors is positioning itself as a brand that takes sustainability seriously.
So it's not just about doing the right thing for the planet, it's about meeting the evolving expectations of their customers.
Precisely. Now, as we conclude our deep dive into Eicher Motors, let me leave you with a final thought. The company's journey is far from over. They're at a pivotal point, navigating a rapidly changing landscape, embracing new technologies, and redefining their place in a world that's demanding sustainable solutions.
And as they continue to evolve, we'll be here to provide you with more in-depth insights and analysis. So stay tuned for future deep dives as we explore the next chapter of Eicher Motors' story.